Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Kirby's Dream Land 3 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This was the last first-party game to come out for the Super Nintendo in North America. Don't know what it is for Europe. Actually, no, it's not this, because this game could not be converted into PAL format correctly for some reason. And so Europe and Australia never got this game until 2009 thanks to the Wii Virtual Console. And I believe the last first-party game, or the last game ever to show up in Japan, was Metal Slayer Glory Director's Cut, which was a remake of a Famicom text adventure game. With pictures in it, of course. In 2000, but enough about that. This game is kind of the odd man out in the Dreamland trilogy, because 1997, you can tell it came out in that year just by looking at the screen. And it was coming out very late in the Super Nintendo's life cycle. Again, very last first-party game to ever come out in the system. To put things in perspective, we were waiting for Diddy Kong Racing to come out when this game was released. Which kind of puts everything in perspective. I believe this game was covered in the November 1997 issue of Nintendo Power, along with the Super Nintendo port of Space Invaders and Tamagotchi for Game Boy, which I also remember playing a lot. A lot of people give this game grief just because it came out so late and because it's not Kirby Superstar 2. Which, it doesn't deserve all that hate, but at the same time there are some differences between this and the first two Dreamland games, which are a bit concerning to me, and I will point those out. So, let's go ahead and go to the file select screen. We have 3 files to choose from. That third slot is for the Try It Out Tuesday playthrough I did a couple of months before I recorded this Let's Play. And just go up to an empty file, press A, that will pop up. You can go to the options menu, but all you can really do is switch between stereo and mono sound. Very minimalist menu right here, as you can see. And press B to back out all the way to here. Go ahead and press A to start. Here is the level select menu. We can only go to level 1 right now. We're going to have the beat levels to unlock other levels. So we might as well just go ahead and go on to level 1. And level 1 is Grassland. We meet up with Rick the Hamster, and we're about to show off the parasol ability when this pink blob shows up. I'll talk about that pink blob when the time comes. For now, though, we have World 1-1. There is a flower signifying the picture for the stage. You'll see what that means when the time comes. You could go back to Popstar and go back to the level select menu, but there's no real reason to do so, because we haven't even beaten Grassland yet, so we might as well just go ahead and go to 1-1. And there are things in this game that do concern me. For instance, Kirby moves very slow when you move him around. And if the video would come... There we go. Yeah, he moves very slowly. You have to double tap left or right to go where you want to go to get any real semblance of speed. Now, what else is there as the video catches up? Well, you can still inhale. And you can still jump, and he does this "I did it" pose every time he lands, and you don't press anything afterwards. You can still press down to crouch, and you can double tap B to fly and press Y to shoot out the air pellet. And I believe that is about it. Oh, and there's one more thing. If you press A, you'll get Gooey. By sacrificing one of your hit blocks, you have 5 to work with. You'll have 4 health, and Gooey has 4 health. He's computer controlled, and the AA is not that bad, or actually not that good. It is rather bad. I'm never really going to use Gooey. He controls much like Kirby, except he kind of grabs things with his tongue instead. And he can also have his own ability too. But I'm just going to stick with Kirby throughout all of this. I never really see a reason to use Gooey. And we have some warp, or not warp blocks, but star blocks and some stars to collect. We can swallow Sir Kibble by inhaling him with Y and pressing down to swallow him to get the cutter ability. 1 of 7 in this game, and 1 of 6 returning from the second game. And it isn't long before we come across a door. Press up to go in the door, and you'll go in the door. Now, Rick the hamster returns, but we also have Nago the cat. To get on an animal buddy, you can't just walk into them or move into them. You have to press X to get on and off. Why can't you just walk into them and then press X afterwards if you don't have an animal buddy? I don't know why they had to complicate it like that. And while I like Rick the hamster, I'm gonna show off Nago the cat. 1 of 3 new animal buddies who debuted in this very game. Love how he shoots the cutter there at the 45-degree angle. Looks like the prelude to a super attack in a fighting game or something. But we need to go in the door, and if the video would catch it in my post-commentary, there we go. Only reason I'm doing post-commentary because this is the first time I've used Audacity 2.2.2 for this video, and because of that, I forgot to make an exception for this in Windows 10's ransomware protection controlled access thing, so I had to do post-commentary for this video, which was supposed to have live commentary. Oops! So, we have the usual enemies. We have the Cappies, those guys return. We have the Bronto Burbs. We have the Waddle Dees. We have Sir Kibble. There's the Pet Brew, which refills 2 of your hit blocks there. You have 5 hit blocks with 2 hits each, so you have 10 hits to work with before Kirby finally goes down and loses a life. Speaking of the stuff on the head's down display because it's the bottom of the screen, you have a collection of stars. If you collect 30, you get an extra life. And below that, all those little dotted line things there is the boss health meter. We will fight bosses like in every other Kirby game. Don't worry. We will be doing that. And I forgot to mention that Nago has a double jump. You just press B while you're in midair. And because we have the parasol ability from these red guys with the umbrellas, if we keep holding down while we have Nagi with us, as well as the parasol ability, we can just keep doing this pogo thing for as long as we have the parasol ability as well as Nago. And I have to get off Nago real quick to get that extra life. That little 1-up symbol is rather self-explanatory. It is a 1-up. And let's show off Spark ability. Another ability from Adventure and Dreamland 2. That Maxim Tomato there will allow us to refill all of our health as opposed to just 2 blocks worth. And Nago plus the Spark ability allows us to do this little static electricity thing. The longer we hold Y, the bigger the sparks get. The bigger the sparks get, the more it lasts. And Nago basically becomes a walking weapon, which I love. That reminds me, I need to do a Slim Kirby style ability combinations video as a postscript to this, along with the post-game content. Yes, there is post-game content in this game. And now we are at the beginning of Section 3. And if you hear that chime, that means you found something relegated to the challenge for this stage. We saw that flower earlier. We want to jump over that flower and not hurt it. If we squash any of these flowers, we will not get a certain thing at the end of the stage. I'll explain that certain something when the time comes. For now, we need to carefully jump over, and double jump over, these flowers. I believe there are 4 or 5 of them within the stage, and This one gave me a little bit of trouble. Thankfully, I wasn't covered in static electricity by the time I approached that flower, so I was good at that point. And it's a good thing I was careful, otherwise I would have run into another flower. Thankfully, that was just a star. And that invincibility lollipop makes us invincible. As long as you hear the familiar invincibility music, you are indeed invincible. You also have trails following you, kind of like in Street Fighter Alpha. When both of those things stop, you know the invincibility is worn off. And there's one last flower, so I believe there is indeed 4. Because we saved all those flowers, we did not run into them or anything. We can go into this door with 3 stars, which is the exit out of the stage. And when you get this happy music, that means you completed this challenge for this stage. What are you going to get as a result of all this hard work? A heart star. Be sure to pick up the heart star, otherwise you will have to do the entire stage and the challenge that comes with it all over again just to get the heart star. Do not forget to pick it up. I can't stress that enough. And here's the minigame. If you're playing as just Kirby, Kirby moves his arms back and forth. If he has his arms all the way forward, he's not going to go very far. If he goes back, he's going to go very far. And if he has it in the middle, he's going to go somewhere between near and far. If Nago goes down, that means he's going to go very far. If he has Kirby picked up, it means he's not going to go very far at all. You can pick up stars. The medium ones are worth 3, and I believe the big ones are worth 5. You can get Pet Brews, 1-ups, and Max and Tomatoes. The black angry faces give you nothing. And you do want to get practice on this minigame at the end of every level and figure out how it works, because you will be doing it for some post-game content. So anyway, X-1 stages, you have to find the thing that is in the picture for that stage, and you have to not hurt it in some way. In X-2 stages, like 1-2, you have to find a certain person and interact with them in a certain way. So we have to find this little guy, this little green guy with the spiral top below him. This little spirally cone at the bottom, and interact with him in some way. I will be doing backtracking in this video because I forgot where the door was. But we do show off a new ability here. The broom ability, also known as a clean ability. Unlike the other abilities here, this one made its debut in 3, and probably wouldn't show up again until the GBA games, I think? I know it wasn't Star Allies. But the witches with the brooms are kind of hilarious enemies, because you hit them once, you get knocked out their broom, then they pretty much tumble around for eternity until you get rid of them in some way. And of course you also have the stone ability, which I also show off. Now with clean, Nagi turns Kirby into a bounty quilted paper towel, but with stone, Kirby turns into a stone, and Nagi just beats him on the ground repeatedly until you stop holding the Y button. And we just got our extra life from collecting 30 of those stars, which is awesome. I believe that cloud that is created from hitting the ground with Nago plus stone, I believe that can also do damage as well, and the fire ability also makes a return appearance around here too, in this game. So that's pretty cool. So we got Cutter, we got Spark, we got Fire, Broom, and Stone, and now we got 2 more animal buddies to talk about. The little red blob is Choo Choo. We'll be using her for this challenge. And next to her is Pitch, which is a little green bird that Kirby rides. He can go pretty fast, and he can also hover for a little while too. I'm going to be using Choo Choo for this. And interestingly, instead of riding Choo Choo, Choo Choo rides you. Yeah! And she also does this thing where if you press Y, she tries to grab at something and then put it in Kirby's mouth. I never really noticed the Kirby mouth opening thing before until I actually played this. And we are now in the next section of this little stage here. And we've got quite a bit of enemies. These little bouncing enemies are back. And I forgot to break all these blocks because I thought there was nothing in them. Oh, how wrong I was. So I have to go through the entire level again and deal with these guys again, who kind of grow up like self-growing Pokies from Super Mario World, and who then send their segments after you as their attack. And we had to go all the way to those blocks, and, well, I had to, you didn't. I had to go all the way to those blocks and break them to find the hidden door, which was lame. And once you go through that door, there's definitely going back. Also, there is a star behind that star block. Be sure to pick it up. It's really easy. And there's Nelly / Nuruff from Kirby's Dream Land 2, who has now been bumped down to normal enemy status. Apparently things got rough for Nelly after Kirby's Dream Land 2. / unfunny joke. Also, Spike. That is the last ability I really need to talk about. Also known as Needle. Those little white blob enemies with the red spike tops are really mean. Like, they pretend to be all cute and innocent when they see you, but when they don't, they're really mean, and they're even meaner looking when they shoot their spiked head way up just like that. Just look at them. They're trying to act all cute and innocent. It's not working. And as you can see, I'm having a lot of fun taking down all these enemies. Why? I don't know. But we have now reached the exit here. And if you get the sad music at the end, that means you did not complete the challenge. And you're going to have to go through the stage again to get the Heart Star. And this is what I was talking about with Kirby moving his arms back and forth in this minigame. All the way forward, not very far. All the way back, very far. You'll have to learn how to time your button presses to get to where you want to go and get what you want out of these games. Sometimes. Especially for post-game content, because you will be doing this in a little minigame for 100%. I'm really putting this out there right now because some of you may find that difficult. And we could do 1-3, but I decided to get a little bit of time, or a little bit of extra time, out of this video, and I decided to go through the level again. Different animal buddies plus different abilities give you different combinations. And I do like the broom one, because as long as you hold Y, you can just fly your way through the stage. And the sparkles on the back of the broom will damage enemies. So if you need to get away from an enemy, you can do that and attack them as well. And I do like that there are little flower petals just flying upwards in the air like that. I'm assuming that's what that is. And as I go through the third section, I consider the Animal Buddy rooms to be sections. I do go through this area again, and I forget to tackle that set of blocks. I do go back. I do go back because in my live commentary, I'm like, that's a little suspect. We should probably go back to that. And it's a good thing I didn't go through this door either. I considered, like, going through these holes and holding up, and then I realized that's probably not going to do anything. And then I remembered the set of blocks that I did. And then I realized, you know what, that's kind of suspect. And that took care of that enemy. I don't know why I ran into that enemy, but I did. And by breaking all of these blocks, we were able to not only get a doorway, but also 2 stars that we picked up for a little step closer to another extra life. We ditch our broom power-up, we press Y on this guy to kind of smack him with the little appendage that Choo Choo has. He blushes and becomes embarrassed. We completed the challenge for the Heart Star for level 1-2. So now it's time to go all the way back. Thankfully, it's without incident, really. I forgot to mention that you're left of camera when you're left of center from the camera when you're going right, and you're right of center from the camera when you're going left, as opposed to straight up in the center of the screen or the viewable playfield. I consider that to be rather, well, not rather annoying, to be a very slight annoyance. I mean, I'm used to having to center my character in the camera of a 2D game with some games. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, or other games that I've No, it was the first one that had those camera problems, especially after Mini-Boss. There have been other games where I have had to get used to positioning myself back in the center of the screen because reasons. Like Journey to Silius. But in this game, you can't do it. And they took some things that weren't broke and weren't in need of fixing, and they decided to fix them. And there's probably stuff like this that also caused some Dreamland purists to also kind of get angry with this game, I guess. Along with it not being Superstar 2. So we've now gotten to Heartstar. Let's go through the door. And here I am getting a 1-up because I somehow managed to time my button press this time around. And now you've finally gotten 1-2's Heartstar. Next up is 1-3, but we will be handling that in the next video. Join me next time where I go through 1-3 and the rest of Level 1 and more of Kirby's Dream Land 2, 20 minutes at a time-ish. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!